Alita, I think you were asking about Maple TA number 6, so I went ahead and pulled it up. The first thing I'm going to do is graph the first one. It's in something called slope-intercept form, and that means that this number right here without the x is the y-intercept. So I'm going to come to the y-axis and go up to number 4 here. And yeah, it's not going to be exact, but it's close enough. Then here is the slope, -3/5 or -3/5. I can consider the negative attached to the rise or the run, the slope being rise over run. So either way, I'm going to go ahead and do it on the top shore, -3. That means from here, I need to rise a -3, which means going down. 1, 2, 3. Now don't put a dot here because I haven't taken care of the run yet, which is +5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Now I could have done the negative attached to the bottom, which would have made the top positive, so that means I would have gone up 1, 2, 3, and then I would have run backwards for the 5 in the negative direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see it still ends up on the same line. So it doesn't matter either way you want to graph that one. The next one is not in slope-intercept form, and we could find a couple of points by putting a 0 in for x and solving for y. If we did that 0 here, we'd get 10y equals 5. Solving for y would be dividing both sides by 10, which gives me 5/10, which reduces to 1/2, and that means that the y will cross right here at 1/2. And then I could find, whoops, there we go. I could put a 0 in for y, which gives me -x equals 5 because 0 times 10 is 0. So -x equals 5, divide both by a negative, gives me x equals the x-intercept at -5, which is over here. Okay, so that's one way. Or I could go ahead and solve that to be in slope-intercept form. Sorry, need to pull up wrong one. Here we go. Sorry, there we go. So I'm just going to solve this for slope-intercept form just to show you there's another way to do that. So this is -x plus 10y equals 5, and I'm sorry I didn't show anything on just solving for these other ones when I plugged 0 in. If you want to go back and just check the work, rewind the video and put a 0 in and 0 and write it out, and you'll see that those ended up calculating that. But this way I can solve this for y to put it in slope-intercept form by adding x to both sides because it's a -x here. So add x, and I still have the 10y here, and then I'm going to add x to this side, add x. So on the left side, the x's cancel because -x plus x is 0, and I'm left with 10y equals, and I'm going to bring that over just so it looks like the same. It's 5 plus x or x plus 5. They're both adding, and because slope-intercept form, the x comes first, I'm going to do x plus 5. Then I need to continue solving for y by dividing everything by 10 so that this cancels out. 10 divided by 10 is 1, which leaves us with just y. So this is y. Now I need to divide the other side by 10. The number in front of the x is a 1 because nothing's there, which gives me 1 divided by 10, so 1/10 x. And then add 5. 5 divided by 10, I have to divide it by 10 as well. 5/10 is reduced to 1/2. 5 divided by 10. Okay, so the other way to graph this is going through the slope-intercept form, which this here is the y-intercept, or 1/2, which we already found, with a slope of 1/10. That's rising 1 and running 10. They're both positive. So from here I rise up 1, so it goes from 1/2 to 1.5, and then run to the right 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's not quite. Oh yeah, it is right there. 1.5 and 10. So you'll see it's still on the same line. Any of those will give you those two lines, and you can just check how did I do, and it it's good enough, even though it's not exactly perfect. I hope that helped.